Is there a particular language or wording you'd recommend for a situation where a player's in-game actions need to be immediately adjusted mid-match to prevent repeated errors while still maintaining a player's ego and motivation? So here's the how do you criticize a teammate pretty well? And I wasn't sure. It is a really great question. I wasn't sure whether it was the player's own, talking about yourself, or whether you're talking about another player. Nick's asking about another player, but let's talk about that. So I work with a lot of coaches, and one of the coaches I really love and admire is Zotek. I worked with him before on in Valorant, and he and I are mates, and we have lots of great fun, agreeing on all of the stuff and disagreeing on some stuff. But one of the things I pinched from him that I really love is this idea that there's rules for being on a team. I love this because it's very straightforward. You have to do the work and you have to be a good teammate. And if you don't do either of those, then you're off the team. Really basic, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So uh, this falls under the idea of being a good teammate. What is it you're doing and saying that's helpful to your teammate? Being a good teammate. So you have to understand that feedback has a time and a place. So sometimes feedback needs to be given in game, but not a lot. If you're in a round and something's likely to happen in the next round and you want someone to be aware of it, yeah, sure, you can talk to them about, hey, maybe you should have gone here instead of here, or something like that. Just very quick, but it doesn't have to sound so critical. But also, there's two components to any message. So there's the message you want to give, but also there's the way that you say it, the emotion that you bring, and you have to be conscious about how you're delivering that message. What is the content and what's the emotion? And is this a good time and a place to do it? So if you're a good teammate, you would know that, if it absolutely has to be said in the round to avoid the mistake happening in the next round, and it can be handled really, really quickly, you would be quite directive perhaps and say, okay, you need to do this next time. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. But if it's more significant than that, then you might need to note the round and discuss it afterwards, because you don't have time usually in a game to go through very long explanations about why things are happening. I know a lot of teams sometimes their feedback, they want to discuss the round before in freeze time, when you're trying to do the buy and hear the call about what you want to do for the next round.
Not
you,
enough
you can't
time.
afford to chip into that time. You haven't got time for that. So you've got to say, okay, well, let's just note the round, we'll come back and discuss it at the end of the game or the end of the night or whatever it is, and make sure you do that. Because if there's continued problems in that area, you want to fix those things. You don't want to have people still being mistaken about what they need to be doing. So make sure if you note a round, you do actually go back and talk about it. So thinking again still about, the time and place and the way that you might give the message. I'm talking about now, after the game is finished, after the round is finished, or after the map is finished, for instance, and you've got time to discuss it, you might handle this in two ways. Actually, I'm going to go back a little bit further. In the game, the way that we do it in our team is that a player who thinks there's a mistake happened, they would message the coach on Steam, for instance, and say, hey, have a look at this. This is what I think is the problem. So the coach could look then and check that player. You can check follow the player and just see whether they're doing something wrong. Because the coach might disagree with the player
Mm.
and say, no, he's doing it right, or that was the information he had at the time, or the coach is a little bit removed from the player at the time, so they can give immediate feedback to the player who thinks there's an issue, and say, okay, well, it's being handled. Don't worry. I'm messaging that guy, and we'll fix it up. But let's leave that's it. That's in the game. So
Yeah.
let's assume we're leaving it now. We've noted the round. We want to have a discussion at the end in a debrief after the game is finished. So in the debrief afterwards, you might talk about the round, and rather than saying, "Hey, you did something wrong," which is not the great way of addressing this, you might say, "I noticed you did this. Can you tell me your reasoning for that?"
Yeah.
And so you want to try and get into the player's head. Okay, well, I made this decision because this is the comms I heard, or I saw this happening and I had a read, or there's a lot of explanations as to why a person did a certain thing in a round, and you want to work out, okay, well, what is that wrong or right? Are they making the best decision they could? And then maybe they go through their explanation. You say, okay, well, had you thought of doing this? Because you think they've done something wrong, right? So you want to say, okay, have you thought of this? And they said, oh no, I hadn't. So that's something that's a revelation to you. Want to teach it as make it as a teaching moment, not as a you did something wrong and you
A
need to fix it.
criticizing
You
moment.
don't want this,
Yeah.
you don't want this accusatory style. So it's the way you deliver the message. But I like the idea of trying to help them learn what they've done and reflect on what the process was, so that the learning actually takes place. So they know next time, oh, this happened last time. I need to remember to do this. You don't want them just to be scared rabbits by saying, you must do this, and picking on them a whole lot, because if you keep criticizing someone or if you keep nitpicking them over little things, they're just going to be too scared to make a mistake.
Mm.
And so they're not going to play well. You don't want that as a teammate. Why would you do that? So you got to try and remember time and place, content and emotion, bearing in all those things in mind, and try to help the player think and do things that will move them closer to performance, better performance. All right, so I think I've answered that one. Yeah, so it's just the idea that you you don't want to try and make a fool of somebody in front of others. So maybe if you can handle it nicely, sometimes even in private, not necessarily in front of the whole group, that's a better way to get a better response. Yeah, so I think I've covered all that sort of stuff there.
Yeah, really
Is
well said.
anyone? Oh,
Yeah.